Merhabalar, bugün Doktor Atticus Stovall ile kısa bir röportaj yapacağız. Kendisi NASA'da görev almakta ve aynı zamanda GEDI ve üzerine çalışmalarda bulunmaktadır. First of all, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Could you introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah. My name is Atticus Stovall. I'm a research professor at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center and also the University of Maryland. I'm also a visiting researcher at the University of Barcelona Autónoma at CREAF in Spain. So many different places I am at the same time.
For many people, even the word NASA is exciting. So what does NASA mean to you?
I think for me, NASA was, in a strange way, always a dream to end up working in this place. But I think now that I'm working at NASA, one of the big things that's changed for me is realizing that it's possible to do this, and it's not it's not just a dream. It can be possible, and you start seeing how all of these different scientists who previously were kind of far and out of reach are now real people, and you can work with them. And the resources at NASA are really amazing, and it's really a great opportunity to be a part of a big team of people who are all working together with the same kind of goal of improving our understanding of the Earth, and also the side that I'm less involved with astrophysics and looking into the universe.
Have you had any experience since doing your project that surprised you?
I mean, yeah, lots of lots of surprising experiences. And I also have lots of projects going on, but usually my most surprising experiences don't happen when I'm working with data, but when I'm collecting data in the field. So I have lots of different experiences of visiting new places in the world that I've never been and are most often rarely visited by people. And so some examples are being in the middle of the Alaskan boreal forest, Arctic tundra, going to the largest, tallest mangrove forest in Gabon, being in South Africa, surrounded by leopards and lions, and being in a position where you get to have these experiences, and really, it feels surreal. I think that's the biggest thing, is it's almost all surprising. But these experiences in places, and even being here, it all feels like a very surreal and amazing opportunity to learn something deeper about a place on Earth.
Could you explain the relation between GEDI and forest ecosystem?
Sure, yeah. So GEDI is an instrument that we use to basically measure the structure of forest ecosystems. It's used for lots of other types of applications, like measuring the topography of the Earth, but for a lot of my projects, we're often using GEDI to understand what's going on inside of a forest at billions of different locations on the planet, and then we can use that to understand things about the habitat of forests, as well as biodiversity, carbon storage, and then implications from climate change and how that might influence the structure and the function of forests.
Which advice would you give to young researchers and students interested in this field?
I would say one of the more useful pieces of advice that I've heard from mentors, and then I try to pass on to students, is to be open and to do your best to say yes to opportunities in science. And the second thing that I think is maybe more important than everything is work with people that you enjoy, and don't only search for expertise, but search for people that you can work well with, because a good team is probably more powerful than a random group of intelligent people. So find a group that is cohesive and each person brings something different to the table, and they can all work together. And when things are difficult in research, which they often are, you'll at least be able to rely on each other, and then often be able to produce better research because you have this excellent team. So collaboration is one of the most important things, I think, when we move forward with science in general. And for anyone interested in getting into this career path, keeping that in mind, it's not about the individual, but it's about the group and us working together towards understanding the way the world works.
Yeah. What brings you here? How did you find Turkey and Antalya?
So I'm here working on a project led by Nusret Demir, and I actually, in getting involved with the project, it was because I saw a posting about the details of what was planned for this proposal and this project, and I thought, I do these things. So I had never met Nusret, and so I emailed him and said, these are the things that I do. This sounds like a really interesting project. We went through the process of submitting the proposal, and a little while later it was funded, fortunately. And this particular project is using GEDI as well as other types of remote sensing to look at the effects of fire on biomass and biodiversity in forests. And because there have been some major fires in Turkey, we visited a field site yesterday where we got to see one of these main fires in this study. And so I think having the opportunity to be here and see these places that we're studying, like I talked about in these previous questions, I think it's one of the most important things that someone who's in the remote sensing field can do, because with remote sensing we try to understand patterns in the landscape. Those patterns don't mean as much if you've never walked in the landscape. So to go to the place changes your perspective about how that system functions, and it changes your perspective about how to ask effective scientific questions for whatever your research goals are. So other than that, Turkey and Antalya have been incredible, and I hope to come back as soon as possible.
And last question for me, what do you think about the magazine?
I think it's fantastic. I think that this approach to trying to reach a broader audience is probably one of the most important things that people in science can do now, because we want to communicate more directly with the public about how we do science, what it means to be a scientist, and really how you can inspire the next generation of young scientists to actually become a part of this field and to see what real scientists do. Because I think my own personal experience is that I didn't see very much as a child about what scientists do, and now it's becoming more accessible with things like this. This magazine's great because it's trying to make that connection and then effectively inspire the next generation to then become a part of what we're trying to do, and then bring fresh ideas into the field. So I think it's excellent.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you very much for accepting the invitation.
Of course, thank you for having me.